The Sisters Grimm podcast is intended for mature audiences only. Please listen at your own discretion. Tiptoe through the window.
The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
The most notorious serial killer in the nation, the Night Stalker.
The Boston Strangler.
The Son of Sam. The infamous Zodiac Killer.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Get away from her, you bitch!
Welcome to the Sisters Grimm podcast.
How'd you do this? Show you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the
Sisters Grimm podcast.
It's your girl Morgan
And your girl Holly.
and we know that it's been a hot little second, you guys.
Yeah, according in the words of Stained, which I've said, everyone knows the classic. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
And so what we're gonna do is a little housekeeping.
Yeah, so we're gonna start.
Speaking of housekeeping, I am now a housekeeper at a hotel, and let me just tell you, it's scary as fuck.
So, it really has been like such a long time since we've recorded. I feel like the last time we recorded like a full-on episode, it was hot in the middle of the pandemic. And we were still kind of like question marking what we were doing with our lives. And right now I am working as an optician again, and Holly is a housekeeper, and that's kind of our vibe. But we are back.
Vibe. It's just what I do. It's not my vibe. It's what I do.
It's what we do. But we're back here to talk about the Sisters Grimm podcast and creepy stuff. Also, we are back at our dad's house, and the wind is whipping, and Tuesday is snoring and staring at us. So if you hear little noises picking up,
and Morgan has also had a little bit to drink. So
I've had a couple shots of Jameson and a little bit of the Tennessee apple whiskey. So.
Your girl really likes picklebacks?
Yes. But we are here to do a little housekeeping. We are going to start the episode by talking about kind of all of the horror movies that we've been watching lately and what we're excited to talk about, and then we'll kind of come in with other stuff. So, Holly, how about you start
Also, if you thought working at a hotel as a housekeeper was 90% cleaning up other people's pubic hair, you would be right. I don't care what kind of hair it is on the floor. It's probably pubes. Any guess?
I don't care what hair it is. I'm picking it up. Okay. So
I got it.
Let's start with okay.
So
what would you say your favorite horror movie, scary movie has been since we recorded basically back in October? What's your favorite thing you've watched since then?
Oh, well, shoot. I wasn't prepared for that.
Well, I think you know, probably in the deepness of your heart. Speaking of deepness, you could talk about.
Go on. Well, my favorite thing that I've watched lately, honestly, has been Tick Tick Boom, the story of Jonathan Larson who made Rent. But
that doesn't count.
No, that doesn't count. AIDS is scary though. But at any rate, I did watch some movies since we last spoke. Some really crazy-ass movies came out. The movie fucking Titan came out. That was supposed to be up for an Oscar until people probably watched it during the daytime and were like, maybe not.
Why do you, what makes you think that it is now not going to be up for that?
First of all, the Oscars are this upcoming Sunday.
Right, but I mean, what parts of the movie makes you think that?
Probably the part where she gives birth to a baby that's also a car. Probably the part where she fights a car.
Right.
There's it's spoiler alert. All of this crazy stuff is happening to this girl in a movie. And then also, side story, she's pregnant with a car, ? It was crazy.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talking about that movie this year.
It's body horror for those of you who like body horror.
Well, I would say notoriously the Oscars are known for not covering any sort of body horror. So,
well, I mean,
Why do
Some
you
weird
think that it
shit.
was up for that stuff?
Well, because it did really well at Cannes.
Okay.
So it was on like a short list, or like people were. It
Is
had
it up-
it had buzz.
Is it up for
It's up for a nothing.
no Emmys, no anything, no Golden Globes?
Well, it wouldn't. No, I don't think that. I don't know if there's foreign stuff in the Golden Globes, and
It is foreign,
foreign movies are not eligible for Emmys or Grammys. And also, speaking of weird ass movies that did very well at Cannes, Lamb was fucking so weird.
I heard a lot of people like talking about it, but then I saw a lot of reviews, and a lot of them weren't positive.
It like thought it was a lot better, I think, than it was. Like I think like it's literally just like these people have lambs, or no, these people have sheep, and then one of them gives birth to a lamb that has the body of a kid, like a child, human child, and they have lost a child, so they have all this kid stuff, and so they're like, well, let's just raise it as our own. And then the brother comes, and he's like, how is this not super fucking weird for either of you?
So it's it seems like it's pretty body horror, right?
I mean, when I say it has, oh, I'm sorry, it's the head, but it also has, like, one of its arm is a human hand, and the other one is a lamb arm.
Okay, so it seems like it's one of those movies that's very like the body horror is what makes it kind of fucked up.
It's like, there's also the fact that one of the female sheep, which I think is whatever, is raped by another like a large naked like lamb or sheep man, and that's how the baby happens. And like it's sad. It's really sad. It has the original woman from the original actor from The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah.
The Swedish one.
Yeah, okay. I saw that she was the actress in that, which I saw that she was the actress in that, and it did make me kind of interested, but basically I've heard from friends that I went to film school with, that it was just not kind of worth it. And I'll probably watch it eventually, but yeah, I've heard not great things. And any movie that just has to draw on body horror and like really fucked up scenes, it's just, for me, that's not like what makes me feel good going into a movie, I guess.
Well, you don't like body horror movie, that's why.
No.
So that's why you don't like it. I love it. I just thought it was fucking weird. It wasn't like The Fly that was like super captivating or I don't know, anything else, like Videodrome or something. It was weird, but I don't know. Things that I wanted to happen didn't ever happen, and they like made it seem like it would happen.
Speaking of everything you just said, this is like way pushing it from a movie that came out in 2019, but we both just watched The Lighthouse last night.
Yeah, because Morgan's boyfriend was like, we should watch The Lighthouse. He's like, you guys like it. He's like, you like weird horror movies.
I get where he was coming from with that, because it was weird and it was
so many
horrific.
It was so much farts and jerking off.
It was weird, and I wouldn't recommend it. And if you love
Watching people jerk off.
Well, I was just gonna say
Willem Dafoe
specifically.
farting.
No, I was gonna specifically say, what's his name? Edward Cullen.
Oh, Robert Pattinson?
If you love Robert Pattinson,
Robert.
just try it. But otherwise, don't watch.
No,
this
honestly,
movie.
if you love Robert Pattinson, don't watch this movie because he's horrible in it. I mean, like, he's
Yeah.
like good actor, horrible person.
What was the other movie you were talking about though that you saw recently that you liked?
Well, I saw the movie Fresh.
Yes.
And I didn't like it though because it's yucky, and I'm not going to give away the like big loop-de-doo or like what do we call it?
Well, what I've heard recently and what I think
Oh my
is
gosh,
kind
you
of
have everything you. I'm sorry, but like everything you watch, you're like, all of like my friends, like all of the people back from film school, all say these.
Well, I talk to people about movies a lot. I don't know. That's just something I like talking about. Speaking of which, I have a podcast, Movies Am I Right? And it's just reviewing podcasts or No, it's reviewing movies, and specifically. Anyways, Reese Witherspoon, Ryan Phillippe. Recently, I have watched the scary movie, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the new remake that came out on Netflix. You can listen to a more extensive, detailed breaking down of that movie on my podcast, Movies Am I Right? But the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie was not good. And it was literally, I think, an hour and 10 minutes long.
Like, whereas you would not watch a body horror movie, I would never, ever watch a remake.
Yeah.
Ever.
I came home from work one day at like 6, and I watched it, and I was really excited. And it even kind of started out kind of strong, just because all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies have that like news header start where they talk about like, it's very like just like these terrible things have happened to these people, and this is the true story of this. And it did a good job at like that, but then the whole movie and the whole premise and the whole storyline was so bad, and it was literally one of the worst horror movies I've watched in a really long time, and I was so disappointed.
Did you go into it thinking it would be good at any point?
The only reason that I did was because I don't know, like 2022 kind of felt like that time.
It's
where,
still 2022.
I know, but no, I'm just saying that this new year, this new time, kind of felt like a lot of new cool horror movies were finally coming out, because like they were coming out from once the pandemic kind of got a little more chill, and a lot more projects were getting, like, things that were supposed to maybe come out in 2020 were finally now coming out in like 2022 due to delays. And so they were like very hyped, and I was excited about them. Texas Chainsaw being one of them, and it just came out and it was so bad. But to veer to another movie that I was really excited that was supposed to come out, I think in 2020, I could be wrong, but the new Scream movie, which also I did a whole review on my podcast, Movies Am I Right, about kind of that movie. But, I mean, I liked it
just shamelessly plugging away right here.
I am. I liked it a lot more than I liked the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, but that's mostly just because of, like, the budget and, like, obviously the original people were still in it. But the new Scream movie was so disappointing to me, and I haven't said that on this podcast yet, but it was just...
Well, you haven't had a chance to.
Ghostface, I still love you, and I'll always...
Oh, God, fuck, I forgot you guys were engaged.
Listen. Listen. Ghostface, it's me, Morgan. I still love you, and I'll always love you. And what Wes Craven did for you can never be unrivaled. But Scream 5... Well, it was still kind of a fun movie theater going experience. It was a bad movie. You should watch it, Holly. Once it comes out.
It has.
It'll probably come out like free soon. I think you have to rent it right now still, but once it comes out free, watch it. Let me know what you think.
I mean, I definitely will because it's in that, but I feel absolutely no obligation to watch that. And especially, well, maybe more.
I immediately had to go to theaters. Marie and
I
went to theaters and watched it, and I was just.
I mean, I have no obligation to watch Texas Chainsaw, the new one, because I could give two shits.
I'm not even remotely. Don't watch that. Don't go watch it. Don't. But Scream 6, it's still good enough to go watch it. But
another bad horror movie you shouldn't go watch, because I don't know why they keep fucking making movies about Ted Bundy, but for some reason, Chad Michael Murray needed to throw his, like, fucking hat into the pot. I don't know.
Why? Do we keep making Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, and John Wayne Gacy movies? I'm done. I'm good. I've heard the story.
It's bad.
I know the story. Tell me any other serial killer. I don't care about those three anymore.
Also, don't make a horror movie about a serial killer using the actual victims' names. They used straight up the pictures of the girls. They went
In the
too
new
far.
Ted Bundy movie?
In the bad Chad Michael Murray one.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that at all. Where did you watch that, by the way? Where is it streaming?
On our television. Don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
On our television.
It was so many layers of bad. Like the one with
and that came out in 2021.
with Elijah Wood. That I
Yes.
don't remember.
That
the
one
one
I've
with
heard is
Elijah
decent.
Wood is good. That one is okay. That one is fine. But this one was bad because at least that one was like it was the interviews. It was after.
I just have a really quick thing to say. So Holly and I kind of keep getting into the topic of conversation of not as much wanting to talk about actual true crime, because the more and more, I guess, like, there is out there that you can find. Like, there's all these really popular podcasts, and I don't know, what else is there for true crime? I guess just stuff on TV.
We don't need to add to it anymore.
But basically, like, there's too much of it, and Holly was listening to a podcast, or was it a TikTok that you were watching?
Yeah, it was a TikTok of a girl. I won't say the podcast, but I will say that
I was gonna say the podcast.
Oh, no, I won't say the name of the podcast. I think that we were we definitely follow each other on social media, but and they're a pretty big one. But yeah, they covered a murder, and it was about this girl and this guy who killed her. And in the podcast, they allege that the boy and girl were dating and like in love, and this girl in the TikTok was like, she was my friend. They were not dating. They were not in love. This girl like basically just got all of her information from Wikipedia. So we don't want, because there are so many different places to find with like the things you need to learn or whatever and all of that, but at the same time at the same time, like, you never fucking know. And I just think I don't know. I've gotten to a place where I feel like it's a little disrespectful almost. Not that we're going to take the ones down, but I don't think I still like true crime, but, like, it doesn't have to be at the benefit of other people. Or at the opposite of benefit.
Basically, we don't want to be out here saying things that are incorrect, basically like spewing misinformation about really messed up times in people's lives, and for that reason we feel less inclined to talk about actual true crime cases, which is obviously something we've done in the past and has been a big part of this podcast. But lately we've been a little bit more into just talking about horror movies and like
lately we've been
or even just
not doing them.
Mostly we've been not recording, but we're more into talking about movies right now. And basically a new thing I want to talk about that I've been very into are horror as well as just, I guess, like thriller novels. And I kind of just want to talk about a couple that I've read recently that were really good. And so this is just going to be a little quick section of book recommendations from me, Morgan. So recently I've read the book In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware, and it's a really good book. It's about I think like 4 or 5 women in England who are on a hen party, which is another way of saying a bachelorette party. And basically it's just a very spooky vibe where they're staying, and it was a really quick and fun read for me. Another one that I loved, this maybe is one of my most like highly recommended books that I've read recently that is like horror, and very specifically body horror, is The Ruins. This was a movie that came out in 2007, and I think the book came out in 2005, and it is so messed up and good, and just like, again, like a very fast read for me, but it's a really weird and creepy and messed up book, and I think the writer is Scott, I can't can't think of his last name, but that was a really good read. Another book that I cannot recommend enough, that is the same author who wrote Perks of Being a Wallflower. The book is called Imaginary Friend, and that was one of my favorite reads of last year. It's like a 700 and something page book, but it was so good and so thrilling that I think I read like at least 200 or 250 pages in one day, because it was just so scary and just like, it was very different than anything I've read in a long time. So I cannot highly recommend Imaginary Friend enough. Another one that I actually just finished recently was called Home Before Dark, and that is just like a classic ghost story book, and it definitely gave me the same vibes as like what was the one, what was that Netflix series, Haunting of Hill House. It was very Haunting of Hill House, Home Before Dark. And if you kind of like those books that are basically, the way it's written is you get like it's like excerpts from a book that came out in this world, and then you also get like what's really happening real time, and you kind of bounce back between those two different storytelling point of views throughout like chapters. That one was really fun. I just finished it recently and I loved it. Also, and this is the last one that I want to recommend. This is like kind of a total throwback that a lot of people probably don't even know about, but the actual book, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like, obviously the movies were out in the 90s. They were a big deal. They did, obviously, the scary movies, making fun of them, but they're an iconic horror movie franchise for sure. But the actual book, I Know What You Did Last Summer, I read that recently, and it is so good. It's very different than the actual movie, but it takes place in like the 60s, maybe like the early 70s, but it was actually a really fun book to read, and it's a super quick read. I think it's only like 250 pages, so that's a very good fun summer book read if you're looking for like a beach read that's also spooky. So that's my little book corner. But now we are gonna get into
my game.
Oh, okay, yeah. Holly wants to talk about her game that she's been playing.
It's not new. So there's this game, Five Nights at Freddy's, which I'm sure a lot of people listening will know what I'm talking about. And it's like based off of Chuck E. Cheese. And basically you find this job in a newspaper where you are like a security guard overnight at this Chuck E. Cheese-esque place. And you have to like make sure that all of the animatronics like stay and like don't kill you, because if they find you, then they will shove you into an animatronic and they will kill you. And so like this dude like calls and he like tells you like all of like spills all the tea about like it's at Fazbear's Pizza, and the animatronics used to be able to like walk around and like mingle with people, but then there was the bite of 87, and let me just say, it's crazy that people can live with a out of frontal lobe, which is not true, but that's what they say in the game. And so it's like really fucking scary, and I like got it on my phone, and like the second one's super fun because you have to like make sure you keep this music box going all the time, but at the same time you have to like shine a light at this dude named Foxy the Fox. And like it's just a very fun game. And yesterday I was trying to use it because it's like known for its jump scares, and I was trying to use it to help Morgan get rid of her hiccups.
Oh, okay. Just like a total side note and something no one needs to hear about because because I'm sure everyone knows about the game. It's that one horror PlayStation game that's like, it has like everyone. What is it called?
We've talked about it before.
We probably Dead by Daylight. Basically, I was just watching friends play that game the other day, and it fucking slaps. Anyways, I think now what we kind of are most excited to talk about, and I think a good way to kind of start off our first podcast of the year is the movies.
Start out. We are at minute 23.
I guess the best way to follow up and end our first podcast of the year is our most anticipated movies of 2022.
I think that's a good idea. Also, real quick, while it's in my mind, y'all who watched Euphoria, wasn't it weird that they had music from Cannibal Holocaust in that one episode? I was like, okay. But, so, Morgan and I, we have different tastes in movies, so we are excited for different movies that are coming out. Because movies that, also that movie, The Deep House, I was meant to talk about that, where there's like a house in a lake. Don't watch it, because it's really not that good.
I'm still gonna watch it because I feel like it seems like something I would be into, but I have heard from not only you, but some other like horror creators that I really enjoy that it's just not great. But I'm still gonna watch it.
All right, well, I'm gonna start it out with a Evil Dead remake, where, as I know I just fucking said that I will not touch remakes, but this is different because Sam Raimi is attached to it, I believe. And it's gonna be on HBO, and I feel good about it. The only thing I'm kind of worried about is that they're taking it out of a cabin and they're putting it like into downtown-esque. So, not exactly sure how I feel about that one, but
yeah. To follow that up, a movie that I'm very excited for is Jordan Peele's next
Nope.
writer and directed movie, Nope. Basically, obviously I'm excited just because I really enjoy Jordan Peele, but the cast is insane. To call back to Euphoria, Barbie Fiera is top billed.
Really?
Top billed. And then it's Keke Palmer, Daniel Kaluuya, and Steven Yeun. So
Love him.
I'm like insanely excited. Like I almost don't want to look into it too much because I just want to be.
You know what Nope
surprised.
stands for, though, right?
Well, also just to like say towards tonight, Paul hasn't seen Us. That would be a fun one to watch too.
I think Across the Universe Emotions is better.
Okay, we're gonna watch Across the Universe, but like that's it.
I
love
think,
Jordan Peele.
and I'm pretty sure everyone's gonna. I think it's The Thing. I'm pretty sure it stands for Not of Planet Earth, and it's gonna be aliens.
Well, yeah, it's. I mean, everything I've read and everything I've seen, at least so far, is definitely very aliens heavy.
Next thing on my list is going to be Orphan First Kill. So my big thing about this, not necessarily excited about it, but okay, so it's going to be a prequel. Now, if you know the story of Orphan, spoiler alert, at the end you find out that she's actually an old woman. So how is this girl, who's going to look even older than she did, look, because they're having the same actress play her, but be younger, somehow play herself in the past? I don't know. We'll have to find out.
And then my next one that I honestly literally just found out about today, but I'm already so excited because it's like an aquatic horror movie. It's The Requin. A couple on a romantic getaway find themselves stranded at sea when a tropical storm sweeps away their villa. So in my eyes, it's like a Bora Bora Maldives, like maybe like
Maldives,
like little one of those tiny beach houses that you can get, and it gets like swept away out to sea. It seems very shark heavy, and it has Alicia Silverstone.
Love that.
Freaking Clueless. In it, and like basically, I'm very excited. So I'm already really ready for that one.
I'm excited for a thriller coming out being directed by Olivia Wilde called Don't Worry, Darling. And Harry Styles is in it now because Shia LaBeouf was in it, but he's a fucking piece of shit. So Olivia Wilde was like, I'm going to hire my super hot boyfriend.
Are they... I mean, I have no idea. Are they still a thing?
I'm pretty sure they're still a thing. And it takes place in the 50s, and Florence is in it.
What I'm most excited for is Florence Pugh and Harry Styles together. So
yeah, and it's like a weird utopian experimental community, and so that's like my shit. Also, you guys, I know I said I watched Tick Tick Boom. I'm obsessed with Andrew Garfield right now. He is going to be in an upcoming. It's going to be a mini series, but it's about these Mormon murders that like actually happened, and he is playing the like investigator who's like very into it, and so I'm very very excited for that because when two things collide, it's like great. You know what I'm saying, guys?
And also, a movie that I think just recently came out, Uma with what's her name? Oh, Sandra Oh. And that like I think literally just came out this weekend. Very excited about that movie.
Yeah, that one looks really good as well. So I think that's where we're gonna leave it at, you guys.
We definitely are going to be coming back with a lot more episodes. We took a very cute little hiatus, which you guys know that we're going to do. But 2022 seems like it's going to be kind of a fun and exciting year for horror. It seems like Hollywood is opening back up, and we're getting a lot more new horror, which is very exciting. So that, and then also like, I mean, truly, it's something I want to talk about a lot more, but like spooky books, like that's something I want to get into a lot more. There's so many good horror, ghost story, like even body horror, like crazy weird books out there.
So you like body horror books, but not movies?
Yeah, I prefer the books more because I don't know. There's something about watching it that isn't as enjoyable for me as just like reading it and trying to create it myself. But basically, like there's just that's not even my favorite kind, but there's just so many good horror and thriller books coming out like right now that I'm so excited to talk about. And like I feel like every week there's a new one that like comes out that I'm so excited to read. So that's definitely going to be a new thing that I want to talk about.
Love that. All right, guys. Take care.
And take care. Is that right?